retail financial strategy means to meet the to meet the financial objectives of the company. Financial objectives and goals are an integral part of a retailer's marketing strategy. And here we are going to be discuss what are the financial performance of the retail companies and what are the objectives and how the cash flow analysis and the funds flow analysis will be taken place in the retailers, retailing companies. So the mainly the objectives and goals of the retail uh, financial strategy, or the first one is the financial objectives. What are the financial objectives means when assessing the financial performance of any retail firm, the most people are going to be focused on profits of the retail store. So what are the retailers' profits? Are the profit as a percentage of sales last year, and what will they do this year, and what they are going to be do in the future. So by assessing the profits of the last year, they are going to be estimate the position of the retail firm. And the social objectives. The social objectives means here the societal objectives are related to a broad issues that provide the benefits to society. That is especially making the world a better place to live. Why? Because now everybody is talking about sustainable growth. Sustainability means we have to take into the consideration of environmental impact on our business. So here the retailers might be concerned about providing employment opportunities for people living in a particular area, or the people with some sort of what do you call a disability, and the people who are having physically disabled and mentally disabled. By choosing some such kind of people, if you are provided employment that comes under kind of social responsibility, that is also one kind of social objective of the retail firms. The third one is the personal objectives. Personal objectives means many retailers, particularly owners of small scale business and independent businesses, have important personal objectives, including self gratification, status, and self respect. So they are going to be run this particular retail store to get a self respect, and they want to maintain some status. So to meet this objective also, they are going to be run this particular retail store. And ultimately, the last one is the strategic profit model. Strategic profit model here, in this strategic profit model, is a method for summarizing the factors that affect a firm's financial performance as measured by return on assets. So here, what is the overall impact of the all factors which are having its influence on the financial performance of the retail firm? So here, how this particular strategic profit model is going to be work out. So here, the profit management and assess management is going to be clubbed together, and these, from this we are going to be measure what is return on our assets. So how much investment made on this particular retail firm, and how much amount of money the retail firm has earned in the form of the profit. So this operating profit margin percentage will be calculated for this, and this profit percentage means earnings before interest and taxes. Earnings before interest and taxes will be comes under the operating profit margin percentage. This is a measure of the profitability from continuing operations of a retailer, and is useful predictor of the retailer's profitability in the near future also. And next, asset turnover. Asset turnover is the retailer net sales divided by its assets. And this financial performance assesses the productivity of a firm's investment in its assets and indicate how many rupees are generated for each rupee of assets. So for this, normally we are going to be used a formula net profit margin, and by calculating return on assets, we are going to be measure this what is the asset turnover. And like this, we are going to be use this strategic profit model to know the financial performance and the factors are influencing on the financial performance of the retailing company, and how you are going to be manage the assets of the retail company. So here we are going to be study the model of asset management path. In this model, we are going to be discuss the components like components in the asset management path, like current assets. Current assets means the cash plus accounts receivable plus merchandise inventory plus other current assets. All together, we are going to be called as a current assets. Then accounts receivable. Accounts receivable is a primarily the money owned to the retailer by customers that bought merchandise on credit. This is called accounts receivable. So these receivable typically come from a retailer's proprietary store credit cards or in-house credit cards. So these stores name as on the cards and the billing is administered by the retailer, not a credit card company such as Visa or MasterCard. So this is called as a accounts receivables. Next, fixed assets. Fixed assets means what are the fixed assets a retail firm or a retail company is owned. So the fixed assets are the assets that require more than a year to convert into cash. So immediately, if suppose you want to convert them into a cash, it is not possible. You need to wait for minimum of 1 year time to convert the fixed assets into cash. Then that is called as a fixed assets, like buildings, some fixtures and display tracks, equipments, computers, delivery trucks. So all these are comes under the fixed assets. Then this is about asset management. And by considering all these things, we are going to be measure what is the total asset turnover. So by knowing this asset turnover, we come to know what is the worth of the retail firm. And analysis of financial strength of the retail firm is also another important aspect in analyzing this financial strategy. So how you are going to be analyze the financial strength of one particular company. So to analyze the financial strength, we are going to be used like a cash flow analysis, debt equity ratio, current ratio, quick ratio. These are the four metrics we are going to be used to analyze the strength of the financial strength of the company. The cash flow analysis means here we are going to be the cash flow is nothing but it is calculated by making certain adjustments to net profit. So these adjustments involve adding or subtracting differences in revenue and expenses that occur from one period to the next. For example, if inventory is increased from one time period to another, cash flow decreases because cash was spent to buy more inventories. So like this, we are going to be analyze how the cash is coming to the company, how the cash is moving through the company. So this is called cash flow analysis. Then debt equity ratio. Debt equity ratio is the retailer's short and long-term debt divided by the value of the owners or the stockholders' equity in the firm. So the owner's equity is the differences after subtracting all liabilities from assets. So it is the owner's investment in the business. So like this, we are going to be calculated debt equity ratio. So by measuring this debt equity ratio, we come to know how much money a company safely borrow over a long period of time. And a high ratio means the retailer faces greater risk and more potential for bankruptcy. So by this also we comes to know what is the financial strength of the retail company. And next, current ratio. Current ratio is probably the best known and often used as a measure of financial strength. Why? Because the current ratio is a short-term assets divided by short-term liabilities. Short-term assets divided by short-term liabilities will give the current ratio of the any firm. So this current ratio is going to be evaluate the retailer's ability to pay its short-term debt obligations, such as accounts with accounts payable, a short-term loans payable to a bank with short-term assets such as cash, accounts receivable, and inventory. So by this current ratio, we know the worth of the retail strategy, what is the cash in the hand, and how much capacity they have to repay the bank loans and everything. Next, quick ratio. Quick ratio, sometimes also called, this is like an acid test ratio. Like in the small pluses. In the sciences, we call it a litmus test. So such kind of litmus test is called as a quick ratio test, quick ratio. And this quick ratio is more stringent test of financial strength than the current ratio, because than current ratio, this quick ratio is called more strengthening metric to measure the financial performance or the financial strength of any company, because this is going to be removes the inventory from the short-term assets. The inventory is going to be totally removed from the short-term assets, and the inventory is the short-term asset that takes the longest to convert into cash. So thus, if a retailer needs cash to pay its short-term liabilities, it cannot rely on inventory to provide an immediate source of cash. That's the reason the quick ratio will give the immediate strength of the company to repay any kind of bank loans or vendor amount of money or whatever it is. So these are the four metrics we are going to be used to analyze the financial strength of the company. They four are: one is cash flow analysis, second one is the debt equity ratio, third one is the current ratio, and the fourth one is the quick ratio. Then how you are going to be set the objectives to measure the financial performance? Then what are the factors you are going to be considered? So why? Because setting the performance objectives is a necessary component of any firm's strategic management process. Why? Because without knowing the objectives, you cannot take any kind of activity, any kind of function, you cannot do it. That is the reason setting the objectives is very important. Then, while setting the objectives, you are going to be considered. The first one is a numerical index of the performance desired against which progress may be measured. Second one is a time frame within which the objective is to be achieved. Third one is the resources method to achieve the objective. These are the three components are included in the performance objectives. So to achieve this, what are the approaches you are going to be planned? So first we are going to be use a top-down planning approach. Top-down planning approach, bottom-up planning approach. Two kinds of planning approaches we are going to be used. One is the top-down planning approach or bottom-up planning approach. The top-down planning means that goals are set at the top of the organization and passed down to the operating levels. In any organization, the goals are going to be set at the top of the organization and it will be moved to the down to the operating levels. That is called a top-down planning approach. So with this approach, in the retailing organizations, the top-down planning involves corporate officers developing an overall retail strategy and assessing broad economic, competitive, and consumer trends. So with this information, they are going to be develop the performance objectives for the corporation. So at the top level, the corporate people, the managers, CEOs, and who are responsible to develop a corporate strategy are going to be set the objectives, and those objectives will be moved to the operating levels. This is one kind of approach that is called top-down planning approach. And bottom-up approach. Bottom-up approach means here it is going to be involves the lower levels in the company developing performance objectives at the operating levels. From the bottom levels, the goals or the objectives are going to be set, and that are going to be aggregated up to develop the overall company objectives. Means here at lower level, the objectives are going to be set by the people, and those levels, those objectives are going to be considered by a higher level of people to aggregate the overall company objectives. So this is called bottom level or bottom up approach in the planning. Bottom up approach of financial status. Excuse me. Yeah. Sorry for the interruption. And once you have set the goals or objectives for the performance strategy, then how these particular performance objectives are going to, how you are going to be execute these objectives which are being set by a top bottom approach or bottom up approach. So here we are going to be consider the types of different measures like the following table here. If suppose you go through a study material, we will have this particular uh, different types of organizations like corporate measures and merchandise management measures and store operation measures. So in the corporate performance measures, we are going to be take into the consideration of retail executives, how they three critical resources, inputs, merchandise inventory, and store space plus employees. So they are going to be managed to generate the sales and profits. So this is a corporate performance. But whereas merchandise management measures means here the critical resources are controlled by merchandise, means the inputs are going to be controlled by the merchandise managers. This is a merchandise inventory, and merchandise managers also have the authority to set the initial prices and lower prices when merchandise is not selling. When merchandise is not selling, they are going to be lower the prices, and they are going to be make the sales. So finally what they are going to do means, they are going to be negotiate with the vendors on the price paid for merchandise. The inventory turnover is a productivity measure of the management of inventory. So the higher inventory means the greater inventory management productivity. Higher inventory means it indicates that the greater inventory productivity. So like this, they are going to be take some measures in the merchandise level. And a store operation measures means the critical assets are controlled by the store managers, not by the corporate people, not by the merchandise people. Store managers are going to be control the critical assets, and they are going to be use the store space and management of the store's employees. So here the assortment will be arranged by the store managers by taking into the consideration of the store space. So these measures of the store operators productivity include sales per square foot of selling space, and sales per employee or sales per employee per working hour. Either here we are going to be take the measures into sales per square foot of selling space, or sales per employee or sales per employee per working hour. So these will be taken as a responsible for controlling theft by employees and customers. So this store maintenance and energy costs, lighting, heating, and air conditioning, etc., will be considered in measuring the store operations measures. So this is about our financial performance strategy of any retail company. Next strategy is retail human resource management strategy. So in previously we have discussed retail marketing strategy, retail financial strategy. Now another pillar of any business is human resource management. So what is the retail human resource strategy? So the human resource management is particularly important in retail because employees are going to play an important role in performing its critical business functions. Retailing means employees. The employees are not only going to produce some kind of activities, they are very vital in selling of the products. That is the reason their role is very important in running any retail company. So, unlike in the manufacturing companies. So, what are the objectives of this HR management in the retailing? Especially the primary objective of the human resource management is to build a basis for sustainable competitive advantage. To build a sustainable competitive advantage. Though, what is this advantage? So, this advantage means is sustainable since labor costs account for a significant percentage of retailers in total their expenses. The labor charges are having a significant percentage of their total investment or total expenses. So that the effective management of employees can produce a cost advantage. The effective management of employees are going to be gives a little edge in making a cost advantage. So the experience that most customers have with a retailer is determined by the activities of employees who select merchandise, provide information and assistance and stock displays and shelves. So the experienced people always helps to the retail company in increasing their sales. So another objective of the human resource management in the retail is to align the capabilities and behavior of the employees, to align the capabilities and behavior of the employees with the short and long term goals of the retail firm. So in the previously just we have set some objectives. So our employees must understand the objectives of the company and their activities must align towards the objectives of the company. So this is very important. So the employee productivity is matters a lot. So the employee productivity is directly related to the retailer's short-term profits. Other measures of employees' attitudes, such as job satisfaction and commitment, have important effects on the long-term performance of the retailer. So committed employees are the most important asset to any retail company. So here we can measure the employee turnover. So the employee turnover can be measured by dividing the number of employees leaving their jobs during the year by number of positions. So nowadays, we all know the attrition is one of the most important challenge for every HR manager. Why? Because many people are leaving the company every year. Then how to retain the employees with our company? There is no other way to retain the companies except to satisfy, except to provide a good work culture, a good work atmosphere in the any work organization. So we need to be, these are the 2 or 3 objectives of the HR. Then, though we are having a clear-cut objectives in the HR strategy, still we may have so many issues in the implementing of this HR strategy in the retail firm. What are those issues? So the first one is balancing the human resource trade. What is the trade? Means the full potential of retailers' human resources is realized when the 3 elements of the human resource trade work together. What are those 3 elements? HR professionals, store managers, and employees. So the human resource professionals are typically work out of the corporate office, have specialized knowledge of HR practices and labor laws. And store managers are responsible for bringing the policies to life through their daily management of the employees who work with them. Then finally, the store employees are who are having a share in the management of human resources. They are the direct employees who are having a touch with the customers. So these 3 different kind of component people must come align to work together for the improving of performance of the human resource department in the retail strategy. Then, apart from this, another issue you need to be managed is expense control. So, retailers must control their expenses if they are to be profitable. If they want to earn more profit, they want to reduce more expenses. So unnecessary expenses must be identified and reduced. Then only the profit may be increased for that particular retail firm. So here, the people must be cautious about paying high wages to the hourly employees who perform low skill jobs. So time to time, the HR manager need to be identify the people and measure their performance and identify what is the amount of money we are investing and what is the return we are getting, and accordingly they have to take the decisions. And another one is the part-time employees. Part-time employees Means here, the retailer's needs for the store employees vary depending on the time of day, day of week, time of year, and promotion schedule. Why? Because during some seasons, certain products may have high demand, and especially festive seasons, the customers' footfalls are touched the peak level of the year. So during that time, you need to be engaged part-time employees to run your activities without any interruption. So here you need to be take into the consideration that what is the costs you are spending to employ the more stop, and how many hours you are taking the work from them, and how much work you are taking from them, and these all are the things you need to be considered. And here, how to minimize the costs investing on the part-time employees. So to minimize the costs, the system is going to be suggest the retailer components that the full-time store employees with the part-time workers. Means here you need to be together the full-time workers means who are going to be engaged minimum of 40 hours in a week. 40 hours in a week. They will be called as a full-time workers. So their work should be aligned with the part-time people, and the part-time people will be employed whenever there is a demand, whenever there is a need, whenever there is a requirement for the retail firm. So like this, we need to be take into the consideration of different factors in engaging the part-time employees, and we have to reduce the expenses, and how to utilize the diverse employee groups. So here, the changing demographic pattern will result in a chronic shortage of qualified sales associates. Now, the due to globalization, and there is a change in the demographic pattern. So during this particular, because of this changing demographic patterns, the result is there is a chronic shortage of the skilled people. The skilled people are moving from one place to other place, and wherever the more opportunities are there, they are being moving. That's the reason there is a high attrition rate is taking place in every sector, not only in the retail sector, but in every sector also. There is a possibility of taking of higher attrition rate. Then how to manage these people? So here, the young employees have traditionally made up the majority of the retail labor force, and retailers have realized that what these employees want of their jobs and work environments is quite different from what their older supervisors want, and therefore that different approach need to be used to manage them. Here, if suppose the who are working with the company since long period of time, their attitude is different, their behavior is different. But now who are being employed recently, the young people. If suppose in any retail company, if you take into the consideration, the more number of employees are falls into the young group only. Because the young group are energetic. And here one thing you need to be understand is that what are the young group employees required, and what they are expecting, and what kind of culture they are expecting from that particular company. So here you need to be bridge between the older supervisors and a new employees. Then it is a very good sign to utilize the diverse employees to get a more productivity from the different youngsters who are being employed newly into the retail company. And how to recruit? Why? Because recruiting the employees. So how to recruit the employees into the retail firm? So here, as usual, we can be use the sources like internal sources of recruitment. So internal sources of recruitment means we can be use the current and former employees, and through the former employees also can be advised to come back and work with us. Otherwise, you can take the recommendations from the employees who are working present, and those people maybe recommend some others, and those People recommended by the present employees also can be recruited into our company. And external recruitment source. External recruitment source, nothing but here we can go to the directly educational institutions who are offering some PG diploma in retail management or some retail related courses, and you can be conducting a placement drive, and you can be get recruited the newly passed out students from the most prestigious institutions or the universities. Otherwise, you can go into the business schools and community colleges and other places also. And other one is you can give an advertisement in print media, advertisement in electronic media, and advertisement in some trade publications and websites. Even online recruitment is also taking place nowadays. So that's the reason you can give a wide advertisement in outside external sources to get employment into our retail company. And otherwise, the other thing is you can approach the employment agencies. The employment agencies who are going to be supply the new employees to the various organizations, and you can approach them by explaining your requirements, by explaining your needs, so that the private organizations or the professional organizations can provide the required number of professionals to your company. That is also one kind of recruitment strategy. And apart from this, you can be use some other what you call unsolicited applicants, the people who are not applied. But if suppose you can be conduct a walk-in interviews, means round the clock you can be invite the new employees. So the people who are interested to work with us, they can be come and face the interview. And if suppose we satisfied with them, we can directly give a job to them. And another one is other channel members, means the employees of wholesalers, employees of manufacturers, employees of ad agencies, employees of competitors can also give the leads for our company, and we can also take their sources to get the new employees into our company. So these all are the, in general, recruitment strategies may be adopted by any retail organization to recruit the new employees. Then once the recruitment process is chosen by the company, then next step is selecting the right personnel into our retail company. Then how to select the people? So here we are going to be have a good idea about different terminology. One is job analysis. Job analysis. What do you mean job analysis? Why? Because if you know the job, what is the job? What are the functions of the job? What are the duties of the job? What are the responsibilities of job? So the job analysis is going to be consist a gathering of information about each job functions and requirements, duties, responsibilities, aptitude, interest, education, experience, and physical tasks. So what are the requirements of a job? So before going to select a person into our company, we need to have a complete idea about particular job. Then only we can able to test that particular new person who applied for the job, whether he or she have the required qualities, required educational qualification, required experience, whether his aptitude may be matched with our work environment or not. So whether he is having a physical ability or not. So these all are the things are going to be taken into a consideration into a job analysis. So here, why? Because in the job analysis, we need to be understand one more thing is job description also we must know. What do you mean job description? Job description means knowing about a job title, supervisory relationships, committee assignments, and the specific ongoing roles and tasks. Means what are the rules and regulations, what are the duties and responsibilities, it comes under the job description. So this job description is going to be enumerates the basic functions, the relationship of each job to overall goals, the interdependence of the positions, and how the information will be flows between the different levels of the people. This is about the job analysis. Then once the job analysis done by the recruiter, then we may go for the application blank. Means here, the first tool to screen the applicants. Here, we might be received some huge number of applications for limited number of jobs. So we cannot give a job, we cannot offer a job to all the people who are applied. Then what to do? We want to screen out the applicants. Those applications are matched with our educational qualifications. Those applications are matched with our work environment. And those people will be selected. Those people will be screened out and kept aside. And those people will be called for the next step of the interview. Why? Because all the people may be applied for the job, but all the people may not meet the requirements of our company objectives, or our company needs, or our company, whatever it is. So once we have screened out from 1,000 applicants into 100 applications, those 100 applicants will be called for the personal interview. In the interview, we are going to be see the person and we are going to be test the person physically directly. Why? Because this interview is an opportunity to assess whether the candidate responsibilities, whether the candidate qualifications and career ambitions align with the position or not. Why? Because he may be have very highest educational qualification and he may have some other great ambitions also. But those ambitions and those higher educational qualifications may be matched with our requirements, our needs of the job or not. So let us go to test the applicant and what he have and what we need. If there is an alignment, we can go for recruiting that, we can go for the selecting that candidate into our company as an employee. Once the selection is completed, then we can go to the next step of training. Why? Because we may select the people from the different parts, different lifestyles, different educations. Then all these people need to work for the same kind of objective, whatever our company objective. So that to align all these people, to bring all them into one platform, we need to be provide a proper training. This training is going to shape all the selected people to know the work environment of our company. Why? Because the work environment maybe varies from company to company. So when a new employee join in the retail firm, he or she would receive a training at free of cost. Why? Because we want to mold the new employees according to our culture, according to our environment. So the effective retailers are going to be train the people to mold them as per the suitability of needs of the retail firm. Why? Because the new equipments, the new people are not going to be understand the retail firm activities, retail firm culture, retail firm strategy, then only they can work effectively. So the HR manager need to be taken into the consideration of providing a proper training to mold the new recruitees as our company employees. So here, what we are going to be cover, what we are going to be trained in. So generally, every company will be cover the general rules like excuse me. So here we are going to be explain that history and basic structure of the organization. Why? Because whenever we are going to be select a person to our organization, he wants to know our company. What are the objectives of our company? What is the mission of our company? What is the vision of our company? What are the goals of our company? What is the structure of our company? So these are the things that need to be explained to the newly recruited. And next, we maybe cover introducing the all related numbers of staff, their telephones, and then what are their duties, responsibilities, and if suppose any problem happens, to whom they need to be report and whom they need to be addressed, and everything they are going to be explained in this particular uh, training session. And here we are also explain the policies and procedures of the company, and also explained the welfare measures taken by the company for the employees, and leaves procedure, and the calculation of the salaries, and if suppose any accidents happens, what to be uh, what to be happen, and what are the welfare measures taken place by the company, and what are the rules and regulations regarding the payrolls, regarding the promotions, regarding the benefits, and everything will be trained when will be provided in the training session. And apart from this, if suppose the new recruitees have any doubts, so those things also can be explained by the senior people to mold them as per as the needs of our company. And here, what are the methods normally the people are going to be used to train the retail people? Normally, a lecture method, how I am giving a lecture now to explain about the retail management, and those people also maybe choose a lecture method, and they will be in a classroom, they will be explain each and everything whatever they want to disclose, and they maybe give a demonstration also sometimes, means this they are going to be show how to use the equipment. For example, one employee is recruited as an operator of one particular machine, and those machine operating, if explained through a lecture method, the a newly recruiting employee may not be understood in a clear manner. That is the reason the machine operation can be demonstrated through in a some video mode or some other mode, so that the employees can be understood very easily. And otherwise, the training session can be conducted in a conference method also. For example, the supervisory training and conference leader can be encouraged participation, and in a if suppose they want to give some instructions and skill development programs, or some other uh, modes of what do you call information, based on that information they are going to be choose. Even in the video conference method also, some of the sessions can be taken place. Otherwise, and sometimes they can use a case study method of training also. Case study method of training means here it is an actual or hypothetical problem presented, including circumstances, pertinent information and questions, and learning by doing, exposure to a wide variety of problems. Here means in the case study means the participants can be given a problem, and the supervisors asked to provide a different solutions to solve the problem, so that they will be come with their own solutions, and those solutions are practicable or viable or applicable to the company, can be a debatable things for a later moment. So these kind of different practical situations can be given to the people for the discussion. And role playing is another method where the people can be asked to play as a role given by. If suppose if you are the general manager, what you will do? If you are a supervisor, what you are going to do? If you are a manager, what you are going to do? So like that, they are going to be given a different roles and a different situations. And in that particular situation, if suppose you are a manager, how you are going to be performed. So this is called a role playing methodology technique. In this method, a problem situation is simulated, asking the employee to assume the role of a particular person in the situation, and so that they can be understood what are the difficulties of that particular role, so that they have a good idea, and that will be helps to work together with other employees at different levels also. And another method is behavioral modeling. Behavioral modeling means in this in this methodology, in this training mode, the trainers are taught, the trainers are going to be taught the to imitate models shown on videotape or in role playing sessions. So if suppose they will be conduct some video sessions, in the video session, one situation can be shown, and one clip will be played, and then they will be asked the trainers to perform like that only, so that they can be understood the things very easily. So these are the some of the training methods can be chosen by the retail organization to train their more and newly recruited people. And here, what are the compensations can we get, and all the things can be explained in the training session only. Then for every HR department, the one important thing is to apprise their own employees. Why? Because the human is always uh, do more productivity when he is get a little motivation. So if he want to be motivated means we need to be apprise the people time to time. So how your performance can be appraised? So the performance appraisal means the performance appraisal is the systematic, periodic, and impartial rating of an employee's excellence in matters pertaining to his present job and his potential for a better job. So here, uh, without biases, we need to be measure the performance of one employee. That is called performance measurement. So based on this, we are going to be provide some incentives. We are going to be announce some prize benefits, or we are going to be announce some fringe benefits. And these, so once you are going to be analyze the performance or measure the performance of an employee, and based on that you can be give a promotion. Based on that you can motivate him, or if suppose if his performance is not up to the mark, that is also useful to provide a proper training him to bring up. So this is one kind of performance understanding and performance appraisal. And this performance appraisal in a retail stores means here we are going to be prepare one kind of a questionnaire, and we are going to be either whatever the mode you are going to be use, how you are going to be measure the performance is up to the supervisor. And why? Because he is in regular touch with the employee, and he can be says that whether he is doing a good job or not. And here the companies maybe use the different performers to record the performance of each and every employees. Different performers are there in your study material, and you can also go through it. And even the HR in the retail firm is also not that easy. Why? Because the HR manager need to have an idea about the legal framework also. Why? Because each and every activity is related with the employees and labor, and we are having a strong labor act, and we are also having some strong employees act also. That's the reason the HR manager need to have an idea about the what are the possible legal issues maybe arise while managing this particular human resource people. For example, in providing a equal employment opportunities and compensation and labor relations, employee safety relation related, and if any sexual harassment is taking place, and in providing employee privacy, and during all these kind of situations, what are the rules are prevailed by the Indian government, one has to be have an idea, so that accordingly he can be take the possible and positive decisions, so that the employees can be work with more positive nature, and so that the more productivity may be come, and that leads to the more profit to our company. And once the HR strategy is over, the next is going to be discussed about the one other important strategy which other businesses do not have. That is called location strategy. The location strategy, location is a very important for any retail firm. Why? Because the success sometimes the success of the retail business is depends on the retail location also. Because the most important factor, most means most, uh, the for any retail firm, the most important factor what means we can say easily blindly the location, retail location. Why? Because the most important factor is affecting the retail activities is location. The location only. Why? Because though No other factor can be replace the importance of the location. So the location is going to be influence the customer's store choice decision. Why? Because any customer is going to be prefer to do the shopping in nearby his house, nearby his residence. So the store's choice decision is going to be influenced by the store location, and the location decisions are having a strategic importance because they are going to be used to develop a sustainable competitive advantage. So if you want to be gain a competitive advantage over your competitor, you must have a very good sound retail location strategy. So then what is this retail location? Why? Because every location is going to be influence a lot to the customer in making a shop. There is a reason the retail stores should be located where market opportunities are the best. So while you are going to be establish any retail firm, you need to be select a place in such a way that where the market opportunities are the best, either in a country or in a region or in a city or in a area, trade area, or whatever it is, whether the market opportunities are there or not. You need to be consider this as one important factor in selecting a retail location. And for this, you maybe conduct a research study, and you maybe take the expert's opinion. And by taking all this information into the consideration, we need to be select. Why? Because the every retail store is going to be strives for its competitive advantage. Every retail store. Why? Because nowadays the competition is growing like anything. Only the sky is the limit. And that's the reason to gain a competitive advantage, to make one step ahead than our competitor in the modern competitive era, we need to be choose a strategic location for our business. Because for some stores, it is price. For some stores, it is a promotion. But for retail store, the competitive advantage is only location. Competitive advantage is only location. So then what are the factors are going to be affect while choosing a retail location means the first one is the selection of the area. So the area is have a multiple marketing opportunities or not. And because before commencing every retail business, you need to be decide whether this particular area is suitable for the operations, whether this particular area is have a good population, whether this particular area is having a good level of people, and whether it is this area is near to the big market, whether this area is accessible, whether this area is having a good transportation facilities. So by considering all these factors, you need to be select a particular area. And within that area, after selecting a one particular area, one particular city or whatever it is, you need to select a particular site. Why? Because if suppose you have chosen Hyderabad for to start your business, but Hyderabad is a big city. Where you want to start in Hyderabad? Either in East Hyderabad, South Hyderabad, North Hyderabad, West Hyderabad. Where? Even in East Hyderabad also in which location? So the site selection is also another difficult, challenging task for the business person who wants to be establish a new retail store. So the retailer may be open his shop in a specified markets or in a residential area. So the shop should be near to the consumers. The site which is going to be chosen to open a retail store should be very near to the consumers. And the place should be frequently visited by the consumers. That is not only near to the consumers. That place should be frequently need to be visited by the consumers. And the place of location should be easily accessible by the consumers. These are the three things you need to be considered while selecting a site in the chosen area. And You need to be understand the economic conditions of that particular site of the area. The locations involve a commitment of resources over a long time horizon. Why it is important? You need to examine the area's level and growth of the population and employment. So where the chosen area have a more growth in the population, then your business also grown like anything. If the population growth is not there, there will be no business growth. So the economic conditions of the people of that particular area is also one of the other factor which is going to be influence of the sales of our retail store. These are the things also need to be considered. And next, scale of operation. What is this scale of operation? A retailer should decide the size of his business. Size will depend upon his financial and managerial resources, capacity to bear risks and demand potential of the area. The size of the business should depends on the risk bearing capacity of the business person and also the demand potential of that particular area. Why? Because if suppose a retail kirana store, his scale of operations are very limited, which is going to be limited to serve a particular colony. For example, you take the retail company like a DMart. The scale of operations are very big size. Why? Because the DMart is attracting the people from various parts of the location. So the scale of operations need to be understood by the business person. Accordingly, he is going to be select the particular location. And then amount of capital. How much amount of money we are ready to invest to start the business. Why? Because if you are going to be invest the more amount of money, you can easily get more product assortment into your shop. When you are make available more number of products in your shop, that maybe attracts the more number of people. So the amount of capital and source of the capital is depends on the size of business, terms of trade, availability of credit, cost of decoration of the shop and display of the goods. So for this, we need to invest huge amount of money. So we need to be have a correct idea how much amount of money we need to be invest in the business. Accordingly, we have to decorate our business. Accordingly, we have to design our scale of operations. And next, selection of goods. So the goods to be sold in the retail stores also need to be selected. And at the same time, after selecting the goods, and who are going to be supply the goods to you. That is also another important aspect. Why? Because the timely supply of the goods is important factor in attracting the customers to our retail store. So the wholesalers and manufacturers from whom the goods are to be purchased must be selected very carefully. Why? Because if suppose they supplied a quality products, then only we can increase a trust among the customers who are doing a transaction with us. So to increase the customers' loyalty, to develop a trust among the customers, it is very important. It is very important to get a quality product from the suppliers, so that we need to be carefully selected the source of supply, who supply of the goods. And then after this, we are going to be discuss about what are the types of the retail location. The types of retail location means here, we maybe have certain two categorization like unplanned retail locations and shopping centers and other location opportunities. Unplanned means like freestanding sites. Freestanding sites means these are the retail locations for an individual, isolated store, unconnected to other retailers. So like a family-owned business, an independent kirana stores. So these are having certain merits, like these are convenient to the customers and very easy access to the customers, and parking facilities also good. And so uh, uh, these all are having certain benefits. And then coming to that city or town locations. So city or town locations means these stores are located in residential neighborhoods and serve a small locality. For example, in a gated community, they will be start a retail store, and these people are going to be limited their activities in that particular gated community people only. And these locations have a lower occupancy cost than enclosed malls and locations in central business areas. And this is these two are comes under the unplanned locations, unplanned retail sites. Then the next one is the shopping centers. Shopping centers means a shopping center is a group of retail and other commercial establishments. So by combining many stores at one location, the development attracts more consumers to the shopping centers than would be the case of the store or at separate locations. So, like the best example is the malls. Because under the mall, different sectors of the people are going to be established their own different product centers. Like we are going to be called as a shopping malls, power centers, neighborhood and community shopping centers, and lifestyle centers. And mixed developments and outlet centers, theme centers. These all are the best example for the shopping centers. And each and every different centers, they are going to be established their own business organizations or the retail stores, and they are going to be sold their products. And other types of the retail stores are like pop-up stores. Pop-up stores means these retailers and manufacturers sometimes open pop-up stores, which are stores in temporary locations that focus on new products or a limited group of products. So whenever the new products are launched in the company, they are going to be opening a pop-up stores to make and create awareness for their new products. So a few years ago, pop-up stores were a major investment for retailers because of the high startup cost over a very short lease and relatively high lease cost. So to test the market, they are going to be open a pop-up stores to know that what is the strength of the product sales. And next, store within a store. Store within a store means this is another non-traditional location for retailers is within other larger stores. So the retailers, particularly in the departmental stores, have traditionally leased space to other retailers. For example, if suppose even if you go to some supermarkets and malls, some limited space will be kept aside for some product category. That is nothing but store within the store. Means in that particular limited space, they are going to be keep only that particular company products, and they are going to be sold it to. So, for example, even you can take in a traditionally leisure space to other retailers like jewelry shops and high-end designer brands. So, for example, if suppose you go to in example, you take into the consideration if suppose in a PVT mall you can take in entering, you maybe find some jewelry shops like that. If suppose within the store a limited space will be given to the some other high-end branded products that can be attracted to the consumers a lot. And next, merchandise kiosks. Merchandise kiosk means the merchandise kiosks are small selling spaces typically located in the walkways of enclosed malls. So while a big mall is there and there is a walkway to the mall, during that particular walking of the customers in that particular path, they are going to be established this particular merchandise or kiosk. Especially this trend is happening, takes place in the airports, college campuses, or a big office buildings, lobbies. So these are the places are suitable to establish the merchandise kiosks. So these are the different types of the retail stores. Excuse me. And now, what are the steps are going to be involved in the retail location? So choosing a retail location is a very difficult task. So for that, we need to have proceed in a very systematic and fundamental, systematic and one kind of procedure. So what are the steps are involved to that kind of procedure? So the first one is shopping behavior of consumers and retailers target market. So before going to choose a retail market, and we need to be understand these kind of the factors. The first one is you need to be understand the shopping behavior of the consumers. Why? Because the shopping behavior of consumers is the ultimate source of our product sales. So whether our shopping situation, what are the different shopping situations are there, we need to be understand. For example, whether our retail store is belonging to a convenience shopping goods or a particularly shopping goods, or we are going to be sold a specialty goods. So depends on our shopping situation, we need to be understand the shopping behavior of the customers. Then density of target market. Density means whether how the second factor we need to be consider is the density, means a good location has many people in the target market who are drawn to it. And for example, a comparison on shopping store located next to Walmart is a potentially good location because Walmart draws a lot of consumers from a very large area. And similarly, in our India, if you take into the consideration, if suppose you have set a location apart from the DMart, there you can be attract the so many customers. And next, uniqueness of retail offering. So what is the in attracting the customers? That also you need to be considered. And also, as I explained in the HR strategy, everywhere we need to be having a good idea about some legal considerations. Those legal things also you need to be considered before going to be choose a location. So is there any legal problems comes in that particular construction of the buildings, in maintaining the some license, getting the licenses, and in maintaining some environmental issues. So all these things need to be considered while choosing a location. And after choosing a particular location, you need to be concentrate on your store design and layout. So the store design, why we need to be concentrate on store design means while you are going to be choose a store design, we need to be keep the following objectives in your mind. That is, one is implement the retailer strategy. Second one is build loyalty by providing a rewarding shopping experiences and increase sales on a visit and control costs and meet legal requirements. These are the 5 objectives need to be considered while you are going to be choose your store design. So accordingly, you are going to be design your store design, and this store design is nothing but it will be help you. And if suppose you know to understand the layout structure of the store layout, and you can understand the store design also very easily. And while understanding the store layout, we can normally have different types of the plant layouts. Generally, we can be categorized those store plant layouts or the store layouts into 3 categories. One is the grid layout. Second one is the racetrack layout. Third one is the free form layout. The grid layout means the grid layout has the parallel aisles with merchandise on shelves on both sides of the aisles. The cash registers are located at the entrance or exits of the stores, and the grid layout is well suited for customers who are primarily interested in the utilitarian benefits offered by the store. So they are not interested in the hedonic benefits provided by a visually exciting design. So this grid layout is also a very cost efficient, and the space is less wasted in the grid layout when compared to the other layouts, because the aisles are all same width, designed to be just wide enough to accommodate to shoppers and their carts. So like this also we are going to be use the grid layout. And the second one is the race track layout. This race track layout is also known as loop. This is a store layout that provides a major aside that loops around the store to guide the customer traffic around the different departments. So within the store, so this cash registers and the stations are typically located in the cash department and broadening the racetrack. So the racetrack layout facilitates the goal of getting customers to see the merchandise available in the multiple departments and thus encourage the unplanned merchandise. Means the racetrack store design motivate the people for impulse purchases. So the customers maybe make more and more sales, more and more purchases, so that the profit of organization may be increased. And the third one is the free form layout. In this free form layout, also known as boutique layout. So in this boutique layout or free form layout is arranged fixtures and aisles in an asymmetric pattern. It provides an intimate, relaxing environment that facilitates shopping and browsing. However, creating this pleasing shopping environment is costly because there is no well defined traffic pattern as there is in the trace rack and grid layouts. So, customers are not naturally drawn around the store, and personal selling becomes more important to encourage customers to explore merchandise offered in the store. So, in addition, this kind of layout is going to be reduce the amount of merchandise that can be displayed. So these are the three types of the layouts, store layouts we are having. Normally, the people, retailers are going to be use this particular three types of the store layouts. This is about the retail strategy. And today we have discussed the retail HR strategy, retail financial strategy, retail location strategy. And this is about for today's class. If any doubts are there in this retail financial strategy, retail HR strategy, and retail location strategy, the session is open up for the questions now. And if it is not possible to ask now, you can also take my email from the officials of the university, and you can be reach me through mail also. Okay. If no more questions, we can close the session. Thank you. Thank you very much.